Okay, so I'm going to show you all how to actually start with checking STL files to find out if there might be a hidden error that you don't know about. What you're looking at is 3D Builder. It's actually included with Windows 10. Now, by default, in case any are curious, this is actually a model in Ogress by Estudio for Mythbowl. They're one product line from the Stampede team. Starting out, you'll see a solid object with basically this grid. This grid will be a little bit of an actually eyesore when you're looking around for errors, and we're going to also turn on X-ray mode. To do that, we go up to View. We're going to turn off the grid because we don't need it at the moment. We're not going to be checking the scale yet. And we're going to turn on the X-ray mode. Now you can see there's nothing that happened at the moment. However, when I deselect it, you can actually look for the model. Now, certain areas have where you'll see the shades of blue change, or whatever color you have it set, depending on the angle that's turned. However, there's going to be some that will never disappear. And don't know if you all can see it yet, but can you? It's right here. There's actually a small void in there that it won't matter if you're printing it at the normal scale. This is actually a small error that happens thanks to skeleton programs where if you look down here, the cloth isn't joined to the flesh. You can see this gap here. And that's where it forms, because what it does is the program that was sculpted in, for some odd reason, put extra polygons in there, as if it was actually not supposed to be merged together. You can actually see no matter what, even turning it, it never changes. Now, at a miniature size scale, that's not going to be an issue, but if they scale it up, it will be. Ones like these that are real thin aren't all that bad. But it's still, we're going to fill it in. And to anyone that asks, well, how are you going to fill it in? That's simple enough. With 3D Builder, what we do is we just take and go into Insert an Object. In this case, with the shape of it, we're just going to go with a cube and be done with it. Now, by default, it's going to be a massive cube. So we're just going to actually go down here, lock into dimensions, scale it real tiny. Then we're going to drag it over to where that void is and up. Now we're going to be rescaling it. Now what we're going to do here, basically why we're doing it this way is simple enough. If you do it this way, you can actually cram an object into there to make it so it's actually solid. Sometimes you'll need to rescale it. Personally, I don't like doing this because sometimes they'll keep the extra data, but I'm content with it if it does the trick. Now, after I show you how to fix it, we're going to actually be bouncing over to Lychee to actually point out what this will do if you don't do this fix. And with it like this, you will sometimes have to tilt the object left and right. But as you can see right there, it's actually solid. However, that needs actually moved around a little still. So we just deselect it. Now part of this problem is we're going to have to get real close to that. But with it right there, it'll stick out a little, but it won't leave that void form. Now I can only see one void. It looks like there might be another void here. But looking at it, that gap is actually meant to be there. That's actually in between the arm and the football. So now that we have the two in place, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and go up to Edit. and we're going to merge them together. Now on the lower right hand side, you'll see that the one object disappeared because now they're one object total. And void be gone. Okay, I'm hoping this actually helps others, because this trick has actually got where I've just started recently doing supports for people sometimes. And I learned this one because models I've printed in the past had voids, and the models actually started cracking eventually because the fumes needed to escape. Sorry if it took a little long, and be back in a bit with Lychee.
And we're back yet again. Okay, after I actually got done filling the void in 3D Builder, I saved the file. So what we have is two of them. One of them that has the void filled and the other that doesn't. Now, this is actually another reason of filling the voids, is because sometimes with those voids there, Lychee has where it thinks that it's meant to be there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and use their one-click fix that they have. And it's actually got where it's run it, but to check the layer to find out, okay, is it actually gone? We can actually check it out layer by layer. Now, if you remember, the void is actually right around there on the one model. Let's see if we can actually spot which model it's on. We click the prepare button, and what happens is there's a small slider bar on this right hand side that when you actually drag it up will show you layer by layer as your model would be printing. Now you can actually see little by little. Now let's see if you actually have where if you can see where the void is. We've already well passed it, but to me sometimes it's just nice to actually check that to make sure there's no other voids hidden. Now let's see if you all actually spot it. Anyone? Okay, this is the model that was fixed. This is the original model. As you can see, over there it starts. We'll zoom in on it. Now this would technically still leave a void after all when it's printing. You can actually see where it's actually right there. It's solid, then your void starts. There's a little bit of a gap there at least, so it looked like the void might have left out the fluid anyways, but it's always best to actually just fix the problem. And that's how you double check your files to make sure if you've got the void on it. If you've got a void and you've got it fixed, you'll see it there. And as you can see, no void on this one. Just a couple of ogresses ready to take you down. That's a tip for the week.